how far? It's a question that's so fundamental that we almost never really stop to think about it. Okay, so right now, how far away is that screen you're looking at? Is it a foot away? 2 feet? Think about it. How do you actually know that? You didn't just whip out a ruler, right? You just kind of know. So where does that feeling, that knowledge, actually come from? Well, it turns out the answer is literally built right into your body. You are a natural, walking, breathing measurement tool. Your body's got these incredible systems for gauging the world around you, and honestly, they're way more sophisticated than you probably think. All right, so first up, let's talk about your body's built-in ruler. We're going to dive into how we use our vision to measure the world. And let's start with the most powerful distance measuring tool you've got, your eyes. Your brain is pretty much constantly running this super complex calculation to build a 3D map of everything around you. And the secret sauce here is a cool concept called parallax. See, your brain gets two slightly different pictures, one from your left eye, one from your right. And what it does is it measures the tiny angle between those two views to figure out how far away something is. The smaller that angle, the farther away the object. Pretty neat, huh? You know what? Let's actually try it. Go on, hold your finger out at arm's length. Now look at it and close one eye, then switch to the other. See that? See how your finger seems to jump against whatever's behind it? That jump, that's parallax in action. And your brain? It's doing that calculation instantly, all the time, without you even noticing. Okay, so for that little trick to actually be useful, your brain needs a starting point, right? A standard unit of measurement. And evolution gave us a pretty handy one, the length of our own arm. It's roughly a meter, and it basically acts as our built-in go-to ruler. But this system isn't perfect. It's got its limits. For things that are super close, the closest we can really judge is about the width of your hand. And on the flip side, for things far away, well, once you get to about 100 meters, think the length of a football field, that parallax angle gets so tiny our brain just can't detect it anymore. Beyond that, everything starts to look kind of flat. So we're moving on to measuring by moving. What happens when your eyes just aren't enough? Our eyes are fantastic for stuff up to about 100 meters. But what about everything else? How do we make sense of things that are way farther away than that? Yeah. So what happens when something is more than 100 meters away? I mean, how do you know how far away that building is down the street or the next town over? When our eyes hit their limit, we just switch to another tool that's built right in. And what is it? Our feet. That's right. We start moving. We use our own bodies to walk across the world. And that turns a question about distance into a question about effort and time. And what's really cool is that a large, deliberate step is, you guessed it, also about 1 meter long. It's like the same reference point our brain uses for our eyes can be perfectly recreated by our legs when we walk. So if you want to measure a really long distance, you just walk it and you count your steps. Take about 1,000 big steps and you've just covered a kilometer. It's so simple, it's ancient, and it is a surprisingly effective way to map out the world. All right, so let's talk about the scale of our world, the whole spectrum of human experience. We've got our eyes for things up close, our feet for things far away. Now let's put it all together and really look at the incredible range of distances we can directly experience with just our bodies. So much of our world is measured in meters, right? We can easily picture the length of a bus. That's about 10 meters. Or the width of our hand, maybe 1/10 of a meter. We can even sense something as tiny as the thickness of a pin, which is just 1,000th of a meter. This is the stuff of our everyday lives. But here's the thing, the true spectrum of what we can directly experience is so much bigger than that. This range, from what we can see to what we can feel, covers an absolutely incredible spectrum. I'm talking, it stretches all the way from the vastness of space right down to the feeling of a single grain of sand. So let's take a little journey. Let's travel from the absolute farthest a human has ever gone, which would be the distance to the moon. We're talking 316,000 kilometers. It's almost impossible to wrap your head around that number. But that's it. That is the absolute peak of human exploration, the farthest we've ever been. Okay, now let's slingshot all the way back down. Let's go past what our eyes can even see, all the way down to the smallest particles we can distinguish by touch. What's the smallest scale our bodies can perceive? Well, for that, we have to rely on our sense of touch.
Believe it or not, your fingertips are so unbelievably sensitive, they can actually feel particles as small as 2 micrometers. That's the size of a single particle of clay. It is a scale so tiny your eyes have zero chance of seeing it, but you can feel it. And that's the other extreme edge of our sensory world.
Okay, so let's talk about the limits of our experience and what lies beyond our senses. We have this absolutely mind-blowing range, right? All the way from the moon down to a tiny particle of clay. That's the world we can directly touch and see and walk across. But that's not the whole story.
And this really gets to the heart of it. The idea is, this doesn't mean that shorter or longer distances don't exist, it just means we don't directly experience them. Our senses, they basically draw the map of our personal reality. But reality itself, it keeps going way, way past where our perception stops. There are scales out there that are so much bigger and so much smaller. We just need tools beyond our bodies to even begin to measure them.
And that leaves us with one last big question. What does lie beyond the edge of our perception? We've mapped out our own sensory world from our fingertips all the way to the moon. But what else is out there just waiting for a new way to be measured? What's hiding just beyond what we can see and touch and feel?